everyone, welcome to Tiffany D Writing Journey. I'm actually back at my desk recording videos. So what happened was, my last video I thought I was going to stay in the same location, my husband's desk, and record there, and then it turned out that the camera that we were using, the GoPro camera that I had suggested before on my Facebook page for you to use to start out with, it could not handle the amount of videos that we wanted to record. My husband and I actually started some other YouTube ventures together as well, so it's still a good camera to use, that GoPro, if you're just starting out. However, we did have to get a new camera, and I do have new lighting and stuff as well, so it did change a few things and change where I'm going to be doing these videos. So what I would like to talk about today is I'm going to be posting, I post a blog every Saturday and every Wednesday of each week, but what I'm going to do is these videos for YouTube, for my AuthorTube channel, I'm going to be posting on Thursdays, and that will be the previous Saturday's blog and Wednesday's blog, where I talk about and expand what I wrote about in those blogs before. So this is just another place for me to expand on those topics, as well as give you updates on my writing. So that's what I plan to do today. The first topic, the blog post that I did do on Saturday, it was called Chapters. It's about chapters, and I do discuss the length of chapters, what is suggested to use, and if you've read my blog post, you know how I feel about that. There's no real guideline for it, because you have to just know when to start a chapter and when to end a chapter based on where your book takes you. If you're, let's say, you have your character wake up from a dream, maybe that's a good place to start a chapter. You have your character go to sleep, that's a good place to end a chapter. Or the end of a day, or the end of a scene, something like that. That's usually what you want to do. You want to make sure that your chapter ends at the right time and your chapter begins at the right time, because you want to leave kind of a mini cliffhanger. Usually in certain books and that, they'll leave that cliffhanger ending and just make you excited to read the next book. So you want to do something similar to that with your chapters. You end your chapter on a note that makes them want to go to the next chapter, that makes them want to turn that page and see what happens. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a cliffhanger like you would have at the end of a book, but it has to be enough to make them want to turn that page, because each page that they turn is getting more and more into your story, and that's what you want them to do. So when you start a chapter, it's very important also to draw them in, to keep them entertained in the chapter, to get them to know what's going on and understand. If it's a change of scene, which most chapters are, you're changing from one scene to another scene, and that's a great way to break it up and a great way to pass time as well. If you're let's say you have a few months that pass, you can end a chapter saying that a few months have passed, and then start one saying that we're in January or something, when we were in October before or something. That helps pass that time as well, and get your reader to understand the timeline and where they're at. So really, it's really important to do that. Make the chapters interesting. Each and every chapter is like a mini novel inside your larger novel, inside the larger picture. You want to make sure that each chapter has a little bit of a beginning, middle, and end as well, because you're describing a scene, you're describing a situation, you're describing an event in your character's life. So you really want to make sure that those chapters have those elements to carry them through the story, carry someone through the story, and entertain them with each passing chapter, as well as when you end a chapter, like I said, give them a little bit of a cliffhanger ending. Nothing, it doesn't have to be huge. It could just be, oh, they went to sleep. What are they going to do the next day? Your reader might think when they're reading it. So definitely keep that in mind to keep those chapters going in your book. Now, the second topic I would like to talk about is actually pronouns. I just want to cover pronouns a little bit more. I did give you pretty good information in there as far as examples of a pronoun. Really, pronouns is it's something that we use on a daily basis when we speak. We use every single day. We know exactly how to use them. We've been using them all our lives. So using pronouns in a novel, it shouldn't be too difficult. However, the issue I've noticed is writers having trouble breaking up the use of the same pronoun. They use the same thing. I've seen several books where it's like 3 or 4 sentences in a row that start with he. I don't really believe in doing that. I think that it doesn't mix up the story enough. I think that you should use varying pronouns as well as nouns to mix it up, and just play with your sentence structure a little bit. See if there's a different way that you can word it, so you're not using the same first word every single sentence in a paragraph or even a chapter. If you use he to start every single sentence when you're talking about someone, it makes it a little boring. You need to mix it up. You need to use those different words, because pronouns are actually taking the place of a noun. So you're able to kind of go back and forth between the two. Use nouns, use pronouns. Like I said, work on that sentence structure. It really helps to word a sentence a little bit better, because you want to start the sentence well, as well as end the sentence well. As writers, like I said in my most recent blog post, is we have to be careful with each and every word we use and how we use it. That's the joy of being a writer. The joy of being an author is knowing how to use the right words and when to use them. So it's a learning process. I'm not going to say that I know exactly how to use every word in all the right ways. However, I've done a lot of research on the subject. I know a good amount about pronouns and that based on different things that I've written, but I'm really trying to emphasize the mixing up the ways to start a sentence, because I've beta read some novels and people starting out with their writing, and that is one common thing that I see happen very often, is the overuse of a pronoun, the same pronoun, or even a couple different ones. My blog post, I call it he said, she said pronouns, because he and she is used so much to describe someone. You gave them a great name, I'm sure, in whatever novel or story that you wrote. So you want to try and mix it up and use their name too. And like I said, there are other ways to word the sentence. There are other ways to mix it up. It's definitely something you want to keep in mind when you're writing. That way your readers stay entertained. Just like with chapters, you want them to stay entertained through the whole chapter. So in order to keep their attention, you don't want to bore them with the same words over and over, because then it's going to seem like work. It's going to seem like it's monotony to read it. It's just going to make it difficult for them to carry on through the book, and you don't want that. You want them to be entertained with each and every sentence, each and every chapter, and it's very important to keep a reader's attention that way. Okay, now I think that wraps up how much I wanted to talk about chapters and pronouns at this time. If you have any other questions about it, anything that you'd like me to expand on, or wonder how I write, just leave a comment down below. Let me know. I also want to talk about where I'm at with my writing, my progress report basically on how I'm doing. Now, I am still working on the synopsis, and I'm still waiting for my beta reader to finish my novel, but I did get to a point where my beta reader had suggested that maybe I change a little section of my book. I'm not going to go into too many details about it, but basically I want to change a small section of it when I do my final edit, when they're finished. They're making notes for me on sections that they suggest something with, and I love that. I love the feedback there. It doesn't mean that I have to follow every suggestion that they make, but to make those suggestions can inspire you to alter your novel or alter it in any way, like in a scene or something that you're doing. Alter it in order to make it more entertaining, because your beta reader or beta readers they're giving you that outside perspective that you really need to go ahead and write and finish your novel. So I'm really taking that into consideration. And in the meantime, of course, I'm doing all the social media aspects of writing careers as well, with these YouTube videos, with Facebook, and with my blog. I'm trying to keep up on all of that. In my blog, I post every Wednesday and Saturday, as I said. These videos I hope to post every Thursday. I am doing some stuff on Facebook here and there. I did just post a short little video about writing a synopsis and taking some time to write when I knew I'd be waiting in a car somewhere for someone to get out of an appointment. It's a good time to write and keep notes. So I did post that on Facebook. I will post little videos like that here and there on Facebook as well. If you are interested in these videos and you like them, please hit the like button down below. Like I said, you have any comments, any questions or anything, please comment. And of course, subscribe if you would like to get updates every time I post something new. And if there's anyone you know that you think these videos could help them with their writing, please share. Please share with them, because that's really all I'm doing here. I'm really trying to just help other writers out as best I can. Well, I try to continue on my writing journey as well, because I'm on this road to traditional publishing at some point. So I'm sharing these things as I go. I have all this knowledge in my head that I just like to share with others if I can. So that's really what this is about. So until next time, just keep writing.